Hello, hello, Pisces. It's your turn for your reading. If you'll love a reading from me, um, you just comment below and I can give you a private reading if you would like one of those. They're only $20, not too much. All right, Pisces, you have gone through such a great, tremendous transformation this year. And I feel like a lot of that it brought in where I feel like for some of you, not all of you, you've had to. Maybe some of you weren't. I'm not saying for all of you, but maybe in some ways, Pisces, you went too much on how you were feeling, or you weren't listening to how you were feeling. And I feel like in some ways it brought disappointment. Not all of it, but I just feel like, this year has been a very trying year, not just for you, but like for everyone. I just feel like you've had to really go within. You've really had to look things from a different perspective. And I feel like some of you, not all of you, weren't going on your intuition when you wanted to make a decision on something. Because this has to do with, like, holding on to something, holding on to your money, holding on to, it could also be holding on to your stability. But in turns, I feel like in some of cases, you weren't listening to yourself. You weren't listening on what is the best for you, but you kind of were like this is being greedy or whatever. Like you weren't listening to something. I'm getting. So in turns, it brought a lot of heartache. In turns, it brought a lot of disappointment. So I feel like, uh, he's a man who, the 3 or 4 of Wands, he's a man that holds his stability down, holds it together. But I just feel like in some way you had that moment where you didn't hold it together. You've had a lot of disappointments. You've had a lot of points where it was very rocky for you. That's what I'm trying to say. It was very rocky for you to overcome this this knowing that something was wrong. Like you couldn't put the pieces together, and it kept you up at night. It kept you discouraged. It kept you stuck, per se. But I felt like whatever you were expanding on, especially, expansion, the Queen of Wands, that you're moving past that. I feel like you're moving on to a brighter future, letting go things that weren't serving you. And you're coming in a place, I feel like, Pisces, of empowerment. And something that may have brought disappointment, or maybe you guys weren't taking care of you. That's what I'm feeling. Some of you, it's easy to give. And that's the thing about this. It's easy to give. But he's got it together. He's got his stuff together. And it was in the reverse. And I feel like that's what you were doing. You were giving so much of yourself that you forgot who you are. You forgot that you shouldn't be taken advantage of. And I feel like a lot of you were taken advantage of some point this year. And I don't know what it is about you Pisces, but you give so much, but it's so hard to give to yourself. So I feel like it's a lesson learned, Don't feel like you have to give to everybody, because not everyone's worth who you should give your time and day. So I feel like that's the real message this year, is that you've given too much of yourself, and it made you feel like you were out of the cold. You weren't listening to your intuition. But going on, I feel like you're moving past that and you're getting into your power. You're coming from a place of you're only going to expand when you love yourself. You're only going to succeed when you love yourself. And like what I was saying, you gave too much of yourself this year. And you didn't give enough back to yourself. So things what happened in the past is a lot of the things that have happened is you didn't give to yourself. You didn't really consider your options. And I feel like you just have to focus on what is working to expand on making you happy. You know, it's best to be in a relationship sometimes, but sometimes if you're not giving to yourself enough time, enough energy, and you're giving always to people, it's gonna end poorly. I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but you know, you have to expand on what makes you happy. And I feel like this new year gives that. It gives you an opportunity to follow your heart this time. And you know, this year of 2019 is about being in the heart, being in the moment, you know, taking action for your happiness instead of someone else's happiness. And I feel like that's the lesson that some of you Pisces have learned, is to come from this degrading low point so you can reach this place, so you can be the Knight of Cups and have it together instead of not having it together. And I feel like you've really overcome that this year, and you're stepping into your power. Now, some of you, it looks like there could be an opportunity with a relationship, but you are not making a decision. So I feel like some of you really need to look at your options. You know, I feel like some of you may have been this person closed off. Or I feel like in some way, you know, there's a decision that needs to be made concerning relationships in general. I'm not saying a love relationship, but a decision needs to be made concerning relationships. You know, where you want to be, who you want to be with, or just altogether not being in a relationship. So I feel like what I'm saying for this year, Pisces, is it's important to do whatever makes you happy. You know, if love is what makes you happy, go for it full-heartedly. But when there's no decision, because that's a Two of Swords, you're not sure about something. It tells me you're not sure what you want to do in the matters of relationship, or maybe a partnership at job or something. But I just feel like whatever is the issue, whatever is going on, there's no decision on. Or you're thinking about making a decision, per se. No decisions. So a decision needs to be made. So I just feel like with this new year, it's going to bring in more of a stable ground for you. But also, too, you're going to have to make a decision on where you want to be at with this other person, or a job, or a partnership, because this is all about the partnership. Number 3 is about partnerships. So it's really about considering your options and where you want to be. You know, you want to be this person who not so much has it together, but you need to be in your heart. And you need to work on what is ultimately going to better the situation. Not just for you, but for people. But like, you need to be in your heart. You really need to not stop listening to giving so much to people. But I feel like this year is transforming. It's a place to start over from scratch and just really focus on you for once. But it's all up to you where you want this story to go and where you want this new year to bring you. And I just feel like, you know, don't forget to love yourself. Don't forget to take time for yourself, because I feel like there is a decision concerning relationships or partnerships or work relations, something to that effect. But a decision needs to be made, and only you can make that decision. So anyways, enough said. Bye-bye.